Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate agent Sheila Deignan of Wine Country Group Realtors based out of Sonoma, California. Before starting her real estate career full-time about 15 years ago, Sheila's business background was in contract administration, paralegal work, and venture capital coordination. She considers her work experience as a preparation that allowed her to achieve the Emerald Elite designation as a top producer for Sonoma County and company-wide for the last 5 years. Along with her realtor certification, she has attained the coveted CRS accreditation, which is the highest credential awarded to the residential sales agents. Sheila is also designated as an EcoGreen Certified Realtor, a senior real estate specialist, resort second home property specialist, and certified luxury home marketing specialist of the $1 Million Guild. Integrity is not just Sheila's way of doing business, it's the hallmark of every choice she makes in life. Born in San Francisco and raised in Mill Valley, California, she has raised her family and lived in the North Bay area for the last 20 years. She and her husband also taught dance, swing country, zydeco in San Francisco, Santa Rosa, Petaluma, and Sonoma for 15 years. She is a confirmed voracious reader, an accused workaholic, and an aspiring fitness believer. Her family, her lifelong friends, and her community form the world for which she is thankful every day. All right, with all that said, Sheila, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Keith. Happy to be here.
Sheila, if we could start for our listeners, what led you into real estate? Was it something that you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
I sort of danced into it, to be honest. I grew up in Mill Valley, and I was part of a dance group at that time, did all sorts of folk dancing, and a fellow folk dancer was a broker in Mill Valley, and he recruited me into his firm. He thought I would be great at real estate, and so from the world of dance led me into real estate. And interestingly enough, I met my husband at a dance class too, so it's been part of my life.
And can you talk a little bit about what personal attributes, traits, or qualities you think have most contributed to the success that you've had in real estate?
Well, what I found out is that I really believe that the whole package is what contributes to real estate. If you have to care about your client, and I think part of it is really knowing that you have their back and that you're an advocate for them, and they sense that. If you're doing your very best for them, it comes through. And it's sort of like Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers book, that you need 10,000 hours of being a pro at something. And I think with my passion for real estate and really being part of it for a long time has led to that success. But I also think having my business background of being a paralegal, being in venture capital, and being a very organized person has naturally all contributed.
And do you think you could give our listeners an example of when these traits have played a role in your path towards success?
Good question. I think it has, because I think outside the box. When I found out when I was working in the venture capital community before I got into real estate full-time, is that they thought outside the box and looked for solutions. And I think when you always are looking for solutions and making things work, you overcome obstacles and you make things happen that people can't believe. I just had a situation where I got somebody into a house kind of by the skin of our teeth, and then found a buyer for their house in the nick of time. And it was always just looking for that solution and never giving up made it work.
Excellent. And I think sometimes when people move towards having success, that getting there is not always a smooth, easy road. Sometimes there's trials along the way. So can you talk a little bit about some of the adversities or trials that you had to overcome in order to achieve your goals?
Yes. I think as we all were part of kind of the market downturn, everybody had to kind of hold on and figure out how to make it work. And I had to kind of persevere through that as well and help my clients do it as well. So on both sides, from maybe somebody was in a short sale position and needed to sell their home, I was there for them. And I also was hanging on too through that process, realizing that I too had to pay my bills, and I believed in real estate. I think everybody wants the American dream of being able to own their own home. And if I can be part of that process, it's, part of a greater thing that you're connected to community and you're connected to people, and looking at being part of that dream kind of makes you see the big picture.
And I guess, when you hit these obstacles as they come along, what kept you going? Why didn't you give up? What's your driving force?
Well, the driving force was believing in something bigger than myself and being part of real estate for helping people get where they needed to get. So if I always was looking towards a service for them, and then also for my family. I needed to support my family, and it was not an option to give up. It wasn't an option to give up for my clients, and definitely not for my family. So I just had to believe that it would work out, and it has.
And I guess kind of looking forward, what's your vision for your career and your business over the next 5 years?
I'm looking at it as a team and continuing to grow. I'm really lucky. My husband supports me, too. He's a realtor, so he backs me up. And my son-in-law is now joining our team here, and he's got kind of an architectural background, and he's passionate about joining me. So I look at continuing to grow and learn and be able to help people on a wider basis by having all that support. And I think it makes a difference to have it a family affair as well, because we're all in it together. And people know that. They love being able to reach out to all of us.
Excellent. And I guess kind of on top of that, what do you feel is the best way that you market yourself as a real estate professional so you can have continual growth?
I think that's a great question. I'm always trying to learn. So I go to a lot of seminars. I continue. I'm a real avid reader, so I'm always reading, trying to learn what's the best way to do something. And then I'm always, trying to think about how to sharpen the saw, trying to always improve what I do. So part of that is, being part of big organizations that also have greater goals for improving real estate. So I'm part of National Association of Realtors. I'm part of our local California Association of Realtors. And then I'm also part of National Association of Professional Women and Who's Who. So I think if you're part of bigger organizations that have really clear goals of where they want to go and you're continuing to improve yourself, then you're part of that process.
And I think sometimes when people look at real estate agents, I don't think they sometimes really understand everything that you do for both the buyer and the seller. What do you think the biggest misconception or myth people have about working with a real estate agent?
That's a great question. A lot of times people think we're going to charge them for doing like a comparative market analysis of their property. And I don't charge people for that at all. I'm trying to help them understand the value of their property if they need to sell it, or if they need to refinance, or if they're going through a trust situation and need to get it reevaluated. So there's a lot of services that I can help them with that are no charge for them, and it's part of my support for them as a client or a friend. So what I offer to them is kind of before, after, and during. I'm there for them. So there's help with getting their house ready to go on the market. There's help with setting up searches for them so they know what's in the market and kind of have a market awareness. And there's pricing the house and doing that comparative market analysis so they have a value and have a realistic approach on the market. And I'm there to guide them through that.
And let's say you get a call from a family member or a friend, and they're in another state, and they want to sell their home. Now, obviously, with your experience and probably with your connections, you could look up an agent and do a referral. But from a general advice standpoint, what advice would you give them about selecting an agent that could best serve their needs?
That's really good, because you're exactly right. It's a process. And I think about it like looking at if you're going to select a surgeon or a lawyer, you want to find somebody that's really good at what they do, but also has experience and has your best interest at heart. So a combination of that, I also look at the credentials of somebody and seeing how long they're in the business and how they've continued to improve themselves. One of the really good ways is if they have a CRS, which is the Certified Residential Specialist, sort of like having a PhD in real estate. You have to be in the business so long. You have to continue to take classes. You have to do a certain volume of business. So I look for how they continue to improve themselves, and then I also look at kind of really how they approach their business. So I think you need both parts to make it work. And then I have a flow chart that I give to clients, too, about showing them how the expectations of the process. And I think that helps as well. And whether they're in another place in their life or in another state, it kind of gives them, a benchmark of what to expect.
Excellent. And obviously, you're based out of Sonoma, California. And if somebody's looking for real estate services or an agent in that general area, what's the best way that they can find out more information about you and how you can help them?
If they can go to my website, which is SheilaDeignan.com, they can find out a whole wealth of resources because it has information about all the communities around us, favorite places that I love to go, services that are out there for them. It has also a thing where you can search online and check out all the local properties. And then it has information about my team and about myself, so if they want to find out a little bit more and want to be able to ask me some questions, I'm right there for them.
Excellent. Well, Sheila, obviously want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here today and share all your professional real estate experience with our listeners. And if you're listening and you want to learn more about Sheila, obviously you can go to her website, like she said. Also below this interview, we'll have a link to her site and any other contact information we have so that you can see how she can help you with your real estate needs. So with that said, everybody, until our next show, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.